Welcome back, everyone, to Lore of the Shadow, where last time we returned to Minas Tirith and did a couple of quests for the various people at the lower level. Now I'm back to Mithrandir and see what he needs me to do.
I must hear what you saw in Osgiliath, and I must hear it quickly.
There you are, Pine Lore. I suppose you have been north of the Ramasehor on Imrahil's errand? I told you to assist the Prince of Dol Amroth, but soon afterwards I regretted doing so. There were some matters that I should have asked you about in greater detail, but I gave away my chance by sending you away. Well, it's all right now, for you have returned, and I will worry about it no longer. I must hear what you saw in Osgiliath, and I must hear it quickly. No, not here. Speak to me if you are ready, and we will depart together to the old archives, where we will find the first and oldest collection of scrolls in the city. I think your tale may require further study, but that is where we must conduct it. All right, so let us head over to the old archives.
Let us go to the old archives and speak on the way.
You may begin the tale of your experience in Osgiliath as we walk, and perhaps I will have heard its full extent by the time that we arrive. We must not spend too much long poring over the old scrolls when the battle is so close upon us, but my heart tells me that there is something that we have overlooked, some detail that may be of use to us in the days ahead. We must know what this thing may be. All right, let's find out what we forgot. My encounter with Gothmog fills Mithrandir with dread, and we came here to the old archives to find out why. Welcome to the old archives, Pine Lore. They were carved into the pier rock in the center of the Sage's Neath when the city was still called the Tower of the Sun. This was the original library and storehouse of the city, and it remains a trove of ancient knowledge and secrets. There's much to discover in the scrolls and books that are being kept here, but few in these days give much thought to these dusty shelves. There is no semblance of order to be found. It was in these dark chambers that I found the scroll of Isildur, and learned much that I needed to know. Oh my goodness, that was quite a while ago, I guess. I'm worried about the commander that you met in Osgiliath. Oh, what about him? Gothmog, the Dread Terror. Yeah, though I've known him by other names also. He claims to be Mordorith, reclaimed from the void. Yep. That I remember him claiming. But neither of those names is his true name. His true name was Eärnur, and he was the last king of Gondor. Eärnur was mighty, and he didn't lack for courage, but he possessed none of the caution that could have saved him from doom. He had great victory in Fornost when he defeated the Witch King of Angmar, but that victory stirred his pride to great heights. The Witch King fled. Prince Eärnur believed he had nearly rid Middle-earth of that terrible foe, and cursed his failure to end it there. Years later, the Witch King issued a challenge to Eärnur, now the king of Gondor, and summoned in the Minas Morgul. Eärnur went to the dark city to face the hated foe, and was lost. We know now that his will was mastered, and that he became the loyal servant of his former enemy. He took a new name, Mordorith, and was given the rule of Angmar while the Witch King managed the interests of Mordor elsewhere in Middle-earth. Though your efforts and those of the Rangers and the champions of Angmar, he was defeated, but it seems that victory was not to last. He maintained some bond of his former life, and it allowed his dark master to draw him back before he was lost for good. Search this chamber for mention of Irnir, and I will search the other. Okay, so I am looking for information on it. Oh, I guess they wouldn't have too much information on Gothmog, I guess, if they're that old. Well, nothing relevant there. Anything that mentions Irnir. This pile does not contain any information. Okay, here. You pull many of the books at random, but do not find anything useful. Will I be able to find anything useful anywhere in all of this? Oh, how about this side? I don't think I've quite checked this over here. You find a yellowed scroll that bears Irnir's name many times throughout. Well, does this provide any useful information? Ah, you had better fortunes than I did. For I have not yet found anything. Let's see what's on here. Mithridir takes the scroll from you and quickly reads the yellow parchment. After a moment, he looks at you again. Well, the good news is it didn't crumble or anything like that, so it must be some pretty good parchment. There are matters of interest in this scroll. It speaks of not one challenge, but two, a detail of which I was not aware. It appears that the Witch Kings challenged Irnir to ride forth, and the king was dissuaded from the foolishness by the steward, a wise man named Mardil. That name I know, for he would become the first of the ruling stewards that Irnir disappeared into Minas Morgul. It is from him that the line of Denethor draws his authority. Okay. Irnir did not ride to Minas Morgul alone. He was accompanied by a retinue of knights, and they disappeared with him. Some of these men you may have seen before, transformed into Kargul. This scroll bears their names: Ongerlang, Kautulir, Silmathar, and Makilnis. I cannot match those names with their fates. Well, it'll be a while before we do that, because those names do appear again with, let's just say, later content. These names are not familiar to me, but I do have a dim recollection that a man named Urlog may have committed some heroic deed in the Battle of Fornost. It is the barest hint of memory, but I have not even that for the others. Makilnis is a common name among the women of Gondor. None of the histories that I have seen include any women in the retinue of Irnir's knights, but this scroll appears genuine to me, and I have no reason to doubt it. Some of Irnir's knights had returned to trouble Middle-earth as Kargul, but the power he wielded as Mordred seems more deadly than theirs. We should expect that he will be more powerful still in his guise as Gothmog. And yet, somewhere behind these masks, does any of Irnir remain? He was bold, but foolish. Can it be that Gothmog will be the same? Well, it's always a possibility. Search this chamber for more mention of Irnir, and I will search the other. All right, he decided to switch sides. That was the side that bore fruit earlier. You studied some scrolls in this pile, but it avails you little. All right. And what about around here? The books are falling apart, and you handle them gingerly, but find little of note. Okay, what about this one? The pages of these books are very faded, and you find nothing of interest. I guess one last little area to check. Anything left to check? I think I've checked everywhere, right? Or do I have to go to the next row? I thought I checked everywhere. Well, eventually I shall find something. I didn't check the middle one before. Alright, the middle one had it. And I found a book containing the record of the kings and the stewards. Alright. Well, here you go. You found something else? Ah, yes. This book contains diagrams describing the passage of succession to the line of the kings, and then to the line of the ruling stewards. Do you see? Here is Mardil, the first of the stewards who ruled Gondor after Eärnur was taken into the darkness of Minas Morgul. Mardil swore an oath to rule only until the king returned, and each ruling steward has made the same vow. Mithrandir looks around fervently, ensuring that we're alone. When he's satisfied that we're alone in the archives, he continues. Perhaps the time of the stewards believed the line of the kings would return, but that possibility must now seem quite unlikely. We should not speak of it, even here, but there is one on his way to Minas Tirith who will remind Denethor of his vow. The king may very well return to Gondor, and the rule of the stewards will no longer be necessary. Until the king returns. Oh dear. Trouble? He's pacing. You are not to speak a word of this to anyone, but I fear that we may have overlooked a crucial detail. Yeah? Our mutual friend approaches the city in the company of his Dunedain kin. If Gondor survives the war to come, he will claim the kingship. He will trace his line back through the years to Isildur. But what if someone else seeks to claim that right? What if Eärnur claims the kingship? He is descended from Anarion, brother of Isildur, in unbroken succession. If he can prove that he is Eärnur, his claim to the throne is stronger than Aragorn's. We must prevent this, Pineleaf. We must prevent the return of this king. It may come to nothing. There are a few in the city who would believe that a man might return from the darkest depths of evil. Though he was once Eärnur, he has worn many guises since he was king of Gondor. He cannot be the man that he was, and despite the rule of succession that he has been corrupted by Angmar and by Mordor. But we must remain alert. If Gothmog does seek to seize the throne of Gondor, we must oppose him, no matter the cost. Ooh, boy. We should leave this place. It is no longer as comfortable or as familiar as it once was. All right, let's get out. All right, that guard has walked away, and no one else is really close, so we can be quiet for a moment.
I feared it might be so.
We must keep each other's confidence on this matter, and tell no one of the true nature of Gothmog's lineage. No good can come of it, for Gondor or for this Middle-earth. I do thank you for this tale, Pinelore, though it be unpleasant and worrisome. Better to know and prepare than to be taken unawares. For now there is a city to defend. We must set our will to its defense, and let all other matters fade into the background. They are lesser matters for as long as the gate and the men defending it stand strong. May that be a long time. May that be long enough. And may we have enough food in order to survive however long it is. Yes. Well, let's get back to Imrahil. I have completed my rounds.
It will not be long before the city is surrounded. I hope we are ready.
I have a message for you, Pinelore. I received word that Ormatar, the captain of the Citadel, has been looking for you. You should speak with him in the Citadel without delay, for that can only mean one thing. Go to Ormatar with haste. Oh, you're not going to tell me what that one thing is, but okay. To the captain of the Citadel. You sent for me, sir?
I have been looking for you. The steward has summoned you.
The steward has summoned me. Wonderful.
Peregrine the Halfling will bring you before the steward.
Surely you know of Peregrine the Halfling. You and he must hail from the same far-off land, unless I greatly missed my mark. Yeah, I can see why you could think that. Yes, Lord Denethor has named him a guard of the Citadel. He will bring you before the steward. Tarry not. All right, I will talk to Pippin then. And head over. Hello there, Pip.
I will bring you before the steward. Keep your wits about you.
Beef your wits, for he has a somewhat frightening countenance. He is a great man of importance, I don't doubt it, but he is very stern, and doesn't go out of his way to cushion the effects of his words. Wonderful, simply wonderful.
There is much to do, and now I hear the steward has summoned my friend for an audience. Time-wasting rubbish.
Well, at least now we know what Gandalf's opinion is of this appointment. This is the Tower Hall, Pinelore. Don't tell anyone, but the steward makes me nervous. I'll show you where to go, and then return to my post outside. Glad that he doesn't need me at the moment. All right. This way. This hall is very grand, but I would much prefer to be in a cozy hole. Everything is so big and cold. Ah, Pinelore is here, my lord. Good luck. Ah, so this is Denethor. Oh, and I presume that's Faramir. Imrahil told me that you were with my son when he fell before the city. Would that you had drawn his foes away, or put yourself between his horse and the raids. He fought well still, but it is an unnatural wound. It saps his strength, and his body is wasting away. My son! Denethor's voice breaks, and his eyes are drawn back to Faramir's bed. He shakes his head, and when he speaks again, his voice is full of iron, and his fists are clenched. Do you know what it is like to live so near to Mordor, Pinelore? Do you know what it is like to stand on the wall of your city and see flames on the horizon, knowing that they signal some terrible work of evil? Do you know what it is to be always in the thoughts of creatures so vile and so terrible that even death cannot master them? I know what this is like. Every morning I wake up knowing it, and every evening I retire to my chamber knowing it, and in the darkest reaches of the night I wake from troubled dreams knowing it. I have struggled long with this knowledge, and I struggle still. Though my sons and heirs be taken from me, I struggle for my people. I have to admit that until a year ago I had no thought about all of this. Come with me. I would show you something. He brought me to a secret chamber on the top of a tower. Is that a Palantir? No one comes to this chamber without my leave, Pinelore, and I grant that sparingly. When I look at you, I see a student of Mithrandir. The wizard has been a friend of Gondor, so far, but he doesn't have the full measure of my trust. Why should he possess it? He is not of this land, and if the battle turns ill, he will simply leave it, leaving my people to suffer and die. I'm not without weapons. I brought you here to see that I still fight the enemy, though none appreciate the battle I wage within this high chamber. This is a seeing stone, an heirloom of the kings of old. I have turned it to my will. Really? Well, I'm glad that you managed that, because the last one I saw wasn't exactly a pleasant sight.
Look deep within the stone, as I have done.
Deep within the...
Will you see what I have seen?
All right, I will see what's in there. In the stone I see the approaching armies.
The forces of Mordor fill Osgiliath and spill into the plain.
Osgiliath was our last line of defense, and now it is taken. The armies of the enemy spill into the plain, and their siege weapons and weapons of war eagerly follow. The forces arrayed against us are vast, and they hunger for our destruction. Well, yeah, that looks like the start of a sizable army. Here we see a messenger.
Hirgon, errand rider of Gondor, he is slain.
Hirgon was to present the red arrow to Theoden of the Riddermark, and by doing so summon the riders of Rohan to our defense. He has been gone for more than a week, and now I see that he is slain. No one is coming to help us. Now we're in a tower. A rather bad tower.
No. Mithrandir's lackey is held captive.
Mithrandir does not share his mind with me, but I know of the dream that came to my sons, the dream that tried to snare Faramir but stole Boromir instead. This must be the halfling, captured by the enemy and held in his tower. We are undone by the folly of Mithrandir. Alright, let's see. Well, that is definitely a hobbit.
My greatest fear comes to pass. Isildur's bane, taken by the enemy.
Yep. That's Frodo. Those are some nasty images. I have seen a great deal in the Seeing Stone, Lore Master, but these terrible visions fill me with dread as never before. You have seen what I saw in the stone. Hirgon and the Red Arrow did not make it to Rohan, and the foolish one Mithrandir sent to Mordor is a captive in Cirith Ungol. Yes, I know of that errand, and I know that it has failed. Whatever that fool brought with him is now gone, and if it is the weapon that I perceived, it will not matter if the gates of Minas Tirith last 5 minutes or 5 hours. The end has come. Listen to my words. Hear what I say, and terrible and tremble at the truth of them. There can be no turning back from this doom. It comes even now. Ouch. I must have been in that tower longer than I thought. Surely they couldn't have done that much damage while I was in there.
So the Honor Stone remained in the tower. I wondered if it was so.
The armies of Mordor have encircled the city, Pinelore. The siege has begun. The way the city looks right now, I don't think it's going to last very long. You tell Mithrandir that you spoke with the steward, and that Denethor spoke to you of many things that he saw within the depths of the Palantir. At that, Mithrandir looks up sharply. So, the Honor Stone did remain within the tower. I wondered if that was so. Denethor has had a stubborn and strong will for all the years of his life, but if he seeks to gain some advantage over the enemy by using the Palantir, Denethor is too occupied with his grief for Faramir to work with any evil that on that score. But he will also be of no use to us in the defense of the city. Imrahil and I will mount the defense, and we will need your help. You will need my help. But you'll give me a reward for helping you, it looks like. Alright, how about this one?
There is no more leaving the city. Minas Tirith is surrounded.
We are surrounded, and we are at war. How will we survive? We have to find that out in the next episode of Lore of the Shadow.